Chapter 1. Embracing Flaws. The problem with flaws. Let us cut to the chase. Nobody likes to talk about their flaws. Whether it's that habit of procrastinating, the fact that you don't know how to parallel park without sweating bullets, or that project you started 2 years ago and never finished, flaws have a way of making us feel uncomfortable. We are taught early on to fix them, hide them, or at least downplay them as much as possible. Flaws, after all, are weaknesses, right? Wrong. If there is one thing this Raggedy book wants to make abundantly clear, it's this: your flaws are not only okay, but they're also essential. They are the jagged, messy, wonderfully human parts of you that help you grow, adapt, and, most importantly, connect with others. We have been conditioned to believe that flaws equal failure. But if you look a little deeper, you will find that the world's most successful people do not hide their flaws. They embrace them. They use them as tools, as stepping stones, as learning opportunities. And guess what? You can too. You just have to be willing to shift your perspective a little bit. Flaws are not weaknesses, they are building blocks. Think about it. When was the last time you connected with someone because they were perfect? I am guessing never. What really builds connection is vulnerability. It is seeing that someone else struggles too. That they are flawed, just like you. When someone opens up about their challenges and imperfections, we don't pull away, we lean in. We trust them more, we relate to them more, and, in many cases, we admire them even more. Your flaws are not weaknesses. They are the building blocks of your story. Without them, you would not have the perspective you have now. You would not have the same empathy, grit, or creativity. Every flaw you think you have is an opportunity in disguise, a chance to see things differently, approach challenges in a unique way, and grow beyond the limitations you set for yourself. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Perfectionism kills more dreams than failure ever will. And do you know why? Because perfectionism is a paralyzing force. It convinces you that nothing is good enough, that you are not ready, that it is better to wait until everything is flawless before you make a move. But here's the thing, waiting for perfection is just a fancy way of procrastinating. Look around at any success story, whether it is an entrepreneur, an artist, or a person navigating life with a little more grace, and you will find someone who wasn't afraid to take action while they were still flawed. They did not wait for all the stars to align. They jumped into the mess and figured it out as they went. Perfectionism tells you that flaws need to be fixed before you can succeed. But the truth? Flaws are where the magic happens. Flaws are what make you relatable, what allow you to learn, and what give you the resilience to push forward when things get tough. So, stop trying to sand down your rough edges and start embracing them. It is the raggedy parts of you that will ultimately lead to progress. Embracing your flaws in work and life. So, how does this actually play out in real life? Let us talk about Maya. Fictional narrative, the startup founder's pitch. Maya had been working on her product for months. She was smart, driven, and passionate, but she was also stuck. Every time she looked at her work, all she could see were the flaws. The website was not perfect, the logo was not polished, the product itself still had a few glitches. So, when it came time to pitch her idea to investors, she froze. Surely, they would see the cracks and flaws just as clearly as she did. And if they saw the flaws, they would reject her idea. Right? But here is the thing. Maya had something even more important than a perfect product. She had vision. She had passion. She had the ability to make her investors see the potential in what she was building, even if it was not quite there yet. So, instead of hiding behind her insecurities and waiting for the perfect version to magically appear, she went to that pitch meeting, flaws and all. Yes, there were glitches. Yes, there were questions. But by the end of her pitch, the investors were not focused on what was not working. They were focused on what could work. They saw her passion, her tenacity, and the potential for growth. Maya walked away with funding not because her product was perfect, but because she was not afraid to move forward, even when things were still messy. What is the lesson here? It is not about waiting until everything is perfect. It is about showing up, doing the best you can with what you have, and trusting that the process will take you where you need to go. Maya's flaws did not hold her back. In fact, they made her more relatable, more human, and ultimately, more successful. The benefits of flaws. Embracing your flaws is not just about surviving the chaos, it is about thriving in it. When you stop focusing on perfection and start leaning into your flaws, you open up a whole new world of possibilities. Here are just a few benefits of embracing the raggedy parts of your life. Authenticity. People connect with realness, not perfection. When you embrace your flaws, you allow others to see the authentic you, and that builds trust and relationships. Creativity. Flaws force you to think outside the box. When something is not perfect, you have to get creative to make it work. That is where innovation happens. Resilience. Flaws teach you how to bounce back. When you are not afraid of imperfection, you are more likely to take risks and recover from setbacks quickly. Growth. Flaws are opportunities for growth. Every time you embrace a flaw, you are learning, adapting, and becoming stronger. Practical exercise. Embracing your flaws. Now, let's get to the good stuff, how you can start embracing your flaws today. Here is an exercise to help you shift your perspective and start using your flaws as tools for growth. Reflection. Grab a pen and paper, or your phone if that is your style. Write down 3 things you consider flaws in yourself or your work. Maybe it's that you procrastinate too much. Maybe you feel like you're not a people person. Maybe you're constantly second-guessing yourself. Now, for each of those flaws, write down how they might actually be serving you. Procrastination could be your mind's way of processing information before making a decision. Not being a people person might allow you to focus on deep work and creativity. Second-guessing yourself could mean that you are detail-oriented and thoughtful. Reflect on how these flaws could be leveraged to your advantage, rather than seen as something to fix. Action step. Think of a project or goal you have been holding off on because you are waiting for the perfect time or the perfect version of yourself to show up. Now, take one small step toward that project today, even if it is messy, even if you do not feel ready. Maybe it's sending an email, making a call, or sketching out a rough plan. Whatever it is, do not wait for perfection. Just take the first step. Final thought. Flaws are not something to hide from or fix. They are something to embrace and work with. The more comfortable you become with your own imperfections, the more you will see them as opportunities for growth, connection, and creativity. So, take a deep breath, embrace the raggedy, and start showing up exactly as you are.